Hello, welcome to Monday. Or call us and we'll sit down with you and bring out our ministry stethoscope. Check out our services at our website www.magnicraftconsulting.com. Get the right and appropriate diagnosis, prescriptions, and services from a certified church consultant. Contact us now on 0802-324-2258. Email contact@magnicraftconsulting.com. magnicraftconsulting@gmail.com. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram @Magnicraft Limited. Magnicraft Consulting, doing church God's way. Hello. Welcome to Monday Morning Matters live broadcast show brought to you by Magnicraft Consulting Team, anchored by Niyi Dunmade, a certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting in the U.S. Here, each Monday of every week, we address important, relevant, and actionable topics of interest that will help you and your church grow healthier. And now, meet your host, Niyi Dunmade.
Welcome to this Monday Morning Matters, the third Monday in the month of June 2023. I'm coming a bit 2 hours earlier today because I have a very tight schedule that I need to keep up with. There's a major program in my church. The prophetic prayer hour 1000 day is today. So usually after the prayers we do Monday morning matters, but just fine, let me come 2 hours so that I can be able to join fully participating in the PPH. Okay, so welcome to this Facebook Live broadcast show. I know those of my fans will join, and those who are not joining live will catch up with the replay maybe by 7 o'clock when is the scheduled time on YouTube channel. Thank you for hooking up with us. This series of Monday Morning Matters is just for church leaders and pastors to be equipped with what they need to get their church healthier. Okay, and we've been talking on the emergency preparedness checklist. Last Monday was seasoning hot. If you have missed the last two episodes, please go up to the YouTube channel and to the Facebook page and be there to hook up with those part 1 and part 2. But today it will be part 3. Thank you for hooking up with us. Those who are live with me, I know you are going to come on board and see how we're going to continue with this topic on church emergency preparedness checklist. We're so glad you are part of this live broadcast show. I'm Niyi Dunmade. I'm the founder and the CEO of Magnicraft Consulting. My name is Niyi Dunmade. I'm the founder and the CEO of Magnicraft Consulting. And Magnicraft Consulting is a church consulting firm that helps local churches to grow healthier through empirical assessment, revitalization, training, and strategic blueprints. Our vision is to be the leading church health consultancy that creates actionable, sustainable, and adaptable solution. I'm also a certified church consultant, well trained in the US with the Society for Church Consulting, and I'm also your weekly host of the live broadcast show Monday Morning Matters every Monday 7 a.m. Nigerian time, but today is an exception that is 2 hours ahead. I'm also known as the Church Health Guide of the 21st century. A big thank you to everyone who has been commenting on our posts, liking and reacting to our posts, telling us how timely our content is, I want to thank you so much. Let's just do a little bit of promo today, and then we'll move to the juice of the day. Okay, that's what we're going to do today. And then this promo is from Dr. Tom Rayner of Church Answers. He's a founder and the CEO of Church Answers. He's been able to extend a discount to anyone who loves the church, who wants to become a church consultant, who wants to also create a side income for himself, to consult for other churches. You want to become a certified church consultant to help revitalize churches. Please go reach out to my number on the emails on the screen, and then let's see how we can help you take advantage of that 40% discount to see how you can become well trained and a certified church consultant for that matter. Please get my book on church retention, Pathway to Growth. I think lately I've been beginning to see the wisdom in the book. Someone just called me all the way from Calabar and telling me how rich the book was to him, and is to him. So please get my book on church retention. It's going to help your church. You want to calculate your church retention. You want to know how to calculate your church retention. You want to know what to do about your church retention, because church retention applies and affects every church on earth, to see how we can help you become better. So let's go into the juice of the day. Last week Monday I mentioned a lot of emergency cases. I think I mentioned close to about 16 of them. I don't want to go into all of them, but go on the last episode. You're going to see quite a lot of them: missing child, missing item, active shooter, terrorism attack, bomb threat, terrorists in the service, unconducive weather, severe or adverse weather conditions like tornado, hurricane, earthquake, volcanoes. We can also group all of them under environmental disaster, fire disaster, power failure. It has happened to me before, and a major program, and the gen just went off. What are you going to do? One of the things is we want to avert all these things, but sometimes we cannot 100% avert all these things. Sometimes they happen, and when they happen, we need to be prepared to face it. Elevator entrapment. Okay, if the elevator stop working, there's medical issue. Maybe someone is in labor, someone is in distress, someone is in an emergency state. Evacuation issues, crowd controlling issues, lockdown procedures, recovery and follow-up, and media and communication issues. Okay, who is going to speak for our church when we are in this kind of scandal, when we are in this kind of case in question? So not everybody in the local church is going to be a Christian. It's not, the church is a gathering of Christians and non-Christians. So that means that there's a church really inside the church. Okay, a big C church in the local church, small c. And so the standard operating procedure must put into consideration the group of people who are not part of the family. Okay, because the church is open to all. People who are not saved, people who are on church, people who are not believers, people who are not part of the family can come to church, and your standard operating procedure must have that in mind to be able to make sure it addresses the purpose. I used to tell when I was a church administrator, it's not everybody that comes to worship God. Some come to even steal people's phones, some come to steal people's bags, some even come to cause a nuisance in the church. And the standard operating procedure of your church must put into consideration that some people are going to be used by the devil. Okay, and so once you have that, it's going to help you to address real-time issues. And this checklist I'm talking about provide a detailed checklist for your church emergency preparedness for your church leaders, and that should be part of your standard operating procedure, because it is so important for a church to be ready for and be prepared for emergency in your church. Church in particular are responsible for being prepared for emergencies and to ensure that safety and well-being of their members and visitors is okay. Okay, if people don't know that you are concerned about their safety, you are concerned about their well-being, then people will not want to be proud enough to invite somebody who is an unchurched, unsaved, to come to your church. I mean, your church is leaking, your church is not well organized. There's a way people who visit your church can begin to ascertain if your church is safe and if your church is actually thinking about their well-being as a church. Okay, their well-being as a church. So put in mind that whatever you are doing, you are concerned about the safety of the child, you're concerned about the safety of the teenager, of the youth, of the man and the woman, the boy and the girl in your church. Being sure that the safety and the well-being of your members, whether they are believers or part of the family or not, or visitors, they are very paramount to you. And so we're going to look at some checklists for your church to consider, because the thing is, we are all in different contexts. Some churches may not be dealing with earthquakes, while some will be dealing with earthquakes and tornadoes or hurricane. Some churches will not be dealing with adverse weather conditions. So your context matter, your location matter to determine the kind of emergency that you are being prone to. Okay, some churches are in the desert, and so they are also going to be prone to all these tornado winds and all those things. So one of the things I would say quickly, when you are trying to prepare a detailed checklist for your church, because the checklist that will be good for church A might not be good for church B. And so we need to be able to make sure that whatever you are learning from this live broadcast show, you're going to adapt it to your church. And if you don't know how to adapt it, let us talk together to see how you can adapt, because this checklist is going to be run by the quality of your people. You might have a good checklist, but if you don't have the quality people, and also the numbers also as well to run that emergency plan, there might not be an issue, safety issue for your church. So one is to develop an emergency preparedness plan. Okay, that plan must be so robust. Church continuity plan, succession plan, okay, emergency plan. Those plans are very critical, because when the church is faced with an emergency, you have to develop a comprehensive emergency plan. And the best time to develop a emergency comprehensive plan is before the emergency occurs. And so this plan will always outline the procedures, the protocols to follow in the event of an emergency. In the event of an emergency, what are the first things to do, the next thing to do, the next thing, the very next. And this should include also the strategies for evacuation, for muster points, shelter in place, medical emergency, fire, severe weather event. What are you going to do? What emergency funds are you going to activate to power up that plan? Okay, number one, develop an emergency preparedness plan. Emergency preparedness plan. That plan must be such that when you are creating that plan, the reason why it to be comprehensive is for you to just think that you are in that emergency, and then begin to walk yourself back into the present and say, what am I going to do to make sure that that emergency can be alleviated or reduced, the severity of it is reduced. So develop an emergency preparedness plan. Okay, the strategy must be such that it's holistic, it affects the spirit, soul, and body of your congregation, and also concerns the safety and the well-being of your congregation. I'm going to wrap up with this second one, and then we're going to wrap up with the, okay, let me just do two more of the checklist. One is to conduct a risk assessment. Okay, a risk assessment, because no two emergencies are alike. Okay, emergencies are different. So conduct a risk assessment. What is this emergency? What risk does this emergency pose to my church? So assess the risks and the vulnerability of your church. Maybe it's a building, maybe it's your people, maybe it's your surrounding area, your community. The fact that it's affecting your community does not mean that you should have this attitude of am I my brother's keeper? If it's affecting your surrounding environment, you need to be able to activate an emergency plan. Okay, this includes identifying potential hazards such as natural disasters. You need to point them out. You have last live broadcast show I said we need to be very observant to be able to know the clues, the symptoms, and the indicators of these emergencies. Okay, whether it's natural disaster, it's fires or act of violence. Yeah, the third one has to do with establish emergency communication procedure. What is the protocol for communication when emergency happens? You see, what happens is that when emergency occurs, there is a kind of confusion, there's panicking, there's worry, there's anxiety, and so communication is very, very key to be able to calm people's nerves. So establish a procedure for communicating with church members, with staff, with leaders, with workers at different levels, because communication that is good for leadership might not be appropriate rather for your workers, might not be appropriate also for your congregation. And also the communication for emergency services in the event there is an emergency in your church. Ensure that everyone knows the communication protocol and procedures, and they have access to the necessary communication channels. Okay, when there's an emergency, we're going to communicate through WhatsApp, we're going to communicate through emails, we're going to communicate through press conference, we're going to communicate through text messages. Whatever it is, you need to establish and agree on the emergency. And of course, the emergency channel, communication channel you are choosing must be such that it's easy to access, it's easy to subscribe to, and everybody is on that platform. No one is taken away from that platform. And so you are able to get everybody on board to make sure that they are getting the information from the communication you are setting out to do. Okay, then the last one for today, which is assign roles and responsibilities. So you don't assign roles when emergency starts. You put it in your plan that these are the people we're going to reach out to when this kind of emergency occurs. So assign specific roles and responsibilities to church staff, to church volunteers in the event of an emergency in your church. Okay, when there's a building breakdown, there's a facility breakdown, there's a disaster, weather disaster, whatever it is, begin to tell yourself that when this happens, this is the people, the specific roles and responsibilities that will be assigned to specific church personnel or staff or volunteers or leaders in your church when this kind of emergency occurs. This includes designating a coordinator for that emergency, a communication liaison person, a PR person, okay, a first aid responder, who are the people that will be in the face to communicate with people in the event of that emergency. And I want to wrap it up today within 20 minutes so that we can be able to continue. We're going to wrap up. There's so much to discuss, but I think I will try as much as possible to wrap this all up next week, Monday. We got like 7 more of the checklist, and then we're going to wrap up some of these church emergency preparedness checklist today. I need to rush down to my church and to see how I can be part of the prophetic prayer power. Okay, so please, if you are in Abuja, please, all roads lead to the Transforming Church, and to have the 1000 day today on the prophetic prayer hour with Reverend Sam. Reverend Sam is my pastor, and I love what he's doing. I'm a pastor in the church. I learned some of these things from administrating the Transforming Church. So please let me just take a bow here to see how we can, and my family also can be part of the program today. Okay, I want to just wrap it up with you have any church related questions for me, please reach out to me in any of the social media handles, and I will be glad to connect with you to give you more than an answer. If this video has been helpful to you, give us a like, do share us to your community, drop us a comment. Please drop us a comment in the comment section and let us communicate further. You've learned from me. I want to also learn from you. Iron sharpened iron, so we sharpen the counterpart of each other. So please, in the comment section on the YouTube channel, in the comment section on the Facebook, drop me a comment and let's see how we can continue to discuss further. You have any question, please reach out to us on any of the channels to see how we can give you more than an answer to some of these things we are sharing. We do consultations, we do revitalization, we do trainings, we do strategic planning. Reach out to us. Let us see how we can help your church become better and better and moving away from where it is right now. Till I come your way next week Monday, but that time it will be 7 a.m. Nigerian time, West African time. I say bye-bye. I love you and God bless you. Thank you so much.